Hey guys, welcome back to Life with the Beckers. So today we are designing and 3D printing a license plate frame custom for our channel. So our printer isn't big enough naturally to accommodate this, so we had to do a couple different workarounds to try to get it to all fit. But we found a good design that works, so let's check out the Becker bullets and we'll get right into it. Okay, so what do you think about like fishing licenses and like deer tags? Like, do you think people should be able to hunt and fish on their own land for their own food? Maybe they would need a license if they're gonna sell it, either small business or large business, or like, what do you think about that?
I guess part of it depends on where is it coming from. So like, let's say you have like a river on your property that has fish in it, but obviously that river extends beyond your property on both sides. Mm-hmm. So there are, like, you're affecting the people at least downstream from you, and some fish too do go back upstream, so that could still affect upstream like supply too, like salmon go upstream. So if you fish a lot, you could take from everybody else. So I guess I get why there are like rules about it, like why they have all those rules and licenses is because they don't want people to take from, like, to be overly greedy. But I think that if you're, like, if you have a pond or you have like a property with like a little meadow in it, and the deer or the elk or the fish or the grouse, whatever it is like resides only on your property. They don't wander over from somebody else's property. It's not a river with, like, you know, fish from somebody else's property. Then I think you should be able to freely capitalize on that to feed yourself, your family, maybe even like some friends, like, or neighbors or whatever. Like, I think that should be kind of like free game. I don't think you should have to like have permission to do that.
Free game.
Exactly. The free game should be free game. But I think that once it impacts someone else, that's when it starts to matter. So I guess I don't necessarily like the existing laws, but I do see why there should be some kind of rule about that. But
definitely, I guess, and also playing off that, like, their poop, you know, is fertilizer to the ground.
That's true.
It does contribute to the ecosystem. So I hear you on that one.
Yeah.
But I suppose if every family did that, that's kind of where the laws come from too, so that we don't all deplete it. Mm-hmm. But if everybody did it, then we wouldn't need to provide for all of our friends and all of our family.
Exactly, yeah.
And then in that regard, would it be bad? And maybe like I think if it's your land, that's a good point. If it's upriver or downriver from, like, you know, other things, or if it's the ocean or anything like that, you know, like...
Yeah, like if there's a national forest that touches your property and the deer wander off the national forest into your meadow and you shoot them and eat them, I think that's not very okay, because, like, they're obviously there because of the national forest, not because of your little corner of property that touches it. So I guess it's very circumstantial, and that's probably why they just make permits and say no, because they don't want to have to evaluate each individual situation every time.
That's true.
So maybe that's the thinking behind, like, they know it's more restrictive than it needs to be, but it's for the sake of the good of... See, and I have trouble with that, though, because it's not. Like, some of it is for, like, the retention of the population, things like that. Like, the Forest Service does definitely maintain that, manage that. But, like, the National Forest took wolves out of Yellowstone National Park in the, like, 70s and 80s. They, like, killed the population off. And then a bunch of bad stuff happened. So then in 95, they had to put wolves back into the park because they realized they messed up. And then after about 5 years, the wolves impacted the park and improved all the, like, corrections that needed to be made. They rerouted the river and stuff, fixed it all back to normal. So maybe we don't need to meddle so much in it.
Yeah, so, like, what if the people that were impacted by those wolves just hunted and kept the wolves off their property, you know, and trimmed the herd that way? You know, and then they took it and sold the pelts. You know, they ate the wolf, if that's what you do with them, you know?
Yeah, I don't know.
But I think if it's your land, you should be able to fish and hunt for your own food. You know, you should be able to take that. You know, if you're going to hunt it for your own food, the byproduct of that, you should be able to sell or anything like that. And that kind of thing. Like,
right, like if
you shouldn't be hunting it for selling. But, like, if you're hunting it for your food, I think that you should be able to sell or use, like, the rest of it, like, without having to go ask somebody permission. You know, even if, like, it is the national forest deer, if you're, like, hunting it for your food, I think that that's, like, if it's your land and that kind of thing, even if it is a, you know, 200 square foot thing, you know, that's the cost and the price that you paid when you bought that land. You know, that's part of, like, the land, you know, in my eyes, you know, as far as, like,
right.
borders and things like that, you know. Obviously, I don't rule the world, so there are, there's mineral rights and
right.
these rights, those rights, you know, all these things, but...
So you think it should just be built in, like...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know, when you buy the land, I feel like you should buy the land.
Right, and everything that comes with it.
Mm-hmm. You know, the airspace, the underground space,
yep.
You know, with whatever imaginary boundaries we humans, sorry, want to set.
Yeah.
But, like, anything like that, you know? That's how it should be.
Yeah, that does make sense too, especially because
if you're going to be commercial with it.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you're thinking about, like, giving back to the land, like, maintaining it.
Exactly.
Like, you're going to hunt the deer, but you're also going to cut the grass, and you're going to maintain the trees, and you're going to, like, manage it and give back to it and take care of it as much as you're taking from it.
Exactly. You know, with the fish thing, that can be kind of hard, but, like, maybe, you know, also, I don't feel like a single person, though, or a single family, unless you've got 52 kids, I don't feel like that's going to deplete any kind of natural resource. There's no amount of fish. You could eat fish out of the river all day, I'm sure, like, if you're just, like, a person, you know?
Yep.
Who's going to spend all day just fishing just so that they can, you know?
Like, fish go bad. You can't, like, once you kill it or, you know, catch it, it only lasts for so long, and you can cook it, but again, it only lasts for so long.
Mm-hmm. So, you know, you're going to, like, it's like that book Hatchet, you know? You know, if you're cooking it for food, you're only going to cook it for how much time is going to, like, make sense, you know?
Yeah.
You're going to only spend that much time hunting the fish, catching the fish, hunting the deer, catching the deer, whatever it is, you know?
Yeah. You're only depleting as much resources you can use at the time.
Yeah, that takes energy. That takes time. So that's all part of, like, the trade-off that you face in that. And so you're not going to deplete anything because that's going to deplete yourself. Mm-hmm. For what gain?
Yeah. I think you're right. I think the problem is that when you start looking at it on an industrial scale, or if we were to all... Like
an apartment complex? But, I mean, an apartment complex, you know, you got your domicile. That's it. You don't have any of the ground rights.
Right. I guess what I'm saying is, like, if everybody could have a little bit of property, like if every household had a little bit of property with some water, with fish on it, had a little bit of deer, some grouse, something like that, we all did that. Like, there's not enough, like, room and resource for every single individual family to have a little bit of that property and a little bit of that land. Like, at this point, I think that's where you start to run into trouble.
That's true.
The bigger you try to scale it.
But I think that that's also part of the reason why it shouldn't be regulated as much, because, like, the people that live in the city live closer to the better schools and live closer to the better supermarkets and live closer to these better amenities than the people that choose to live off the land, that live closer to these fresher fish, these fresher deer, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's part of the give and take in the grand scheme of things. And so, like, it's good and bad, but, like, so...
Yeah, it is an interesting, like, thought of, like, how much help does regulation really help that particular free game situation, and
Definitely.
How much does it hurt it?
Well, I think we have more to say on this, but let us know in the comments or anything like that. What do you guys think? Alright, so it failed, unfortunately. Alright, so I ended up taking off the little nubs there, but And then this way I'll just glue it together. So, we got both sides printed. I'm still gonna connect them with like some super glue or something like that, but I just wanna see if it'll fit over the license plate. Oh, I think that's gonna fit perfectly. Oh man. You wanna come look at it closer, Carm? Oh, maybe it's not perfect. Da-na-na.
Oh.
Jerkhead. Crappin' A, it looks so good. If only it wasn't so dumb.
Maybe we can print a strip to go in the middle.
I was thinking that too.
If we're already gluing it.
Such poppycock. Maybe with some glue, that could actually be viable for a prototype for the first one. Because we got more than one car, people. I ain't gonna throw this away, you kidding me? I don't know, I might still. Once we get the design down. But in the meantime, I think that's a semi-win. If we were to drive a semi, that'd be a win. I'm just kidding. So, I colored in that with Sharpie, so it's pretty cool. You can see it from pretty far back. The Beckers stands out the most, and then maybe Jesse and Carm and Life With. Roomba and Petunia you'll be able to see as you get closer. This one was the first one. It has that big gap in there. That was the one that had the nubs on there, but then we took the nubs off and then tried printing it because I thought that was the right like dimensional measurements, but it wasn't. Next, I moved the holes a little bit. I think we got a bug in there. That's funny. I still haven't glued them together, but that one definitely looks better. Doesn't have the gap in the middle. We're gonna paint these and test a paint versus a Sharpie. Here's the final one, like version 3. Looks pretty similar to the other one, except with this one, it comes together, I feel like, a lot nicer. See, this one isn't being held down, but it's like still holding itself together pretty well. So we're still gonna glue it, but I think that this is kind of the way to go.
Yeah, that looks great.
So we got this Gorilla Glue. We're gonna glue up the sides here and put it together, clamp it down, and let it sit, and then hopefully these two pieces will become one. So it says, aww. So it says to wet one side and then glue the other. So I'm gonna wet this side and then glue this side. Just kidding. That was me dipping my finger in the water. Oh, that was me knocking over the water with my elbow. I'm just kidding. I didn't. Okay, so we deedle it. Dun-na-na. The warnings say, don't get this on clothes, don't get this on your face, don't get this anywhere that you don't want to be permanently glued to something else. Don't use too much of it. Don't use too little of it.
Yeah, don't look it in the mouth.
Exactly. Applying clamp. Tightening clamp. Clamp tightened. Oh, kind of. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And now we... Oh no. Oh no. There we go. Hopefully that's okay. And... hopefully that's okay. Boom. Okay, so it kind of held it together, but it didn't hold it together up here, unfortunately. And also, even though I cleaned it out, it kind of stained, and I wasn't able to get out all of it in there. So I also got this clear gel tacky glue, and I'll try that on the top, and maybe this will just be like a front plate, but I'll try that on the top and see if that works better. Alright, check it out. So now it's all done drying. It's maybe not perfectly aligned because I had it straight up and down, but that's okay. It's clear, so you can kind of see a little bit, but that is way better than the Gorilla Glue. So if you're at Walmart, go to the craft area instead of the like other adhesives area, and you'll be able to find this one. Alright, so I got it back on there. You can kind of tell down there at the E and a little bit up at the seam. So maybe we'll test painting the actual frame part of it for this one. If you're close and you want one to kind of help us get the word out about the channel, leave it in the comments below. We'll hook you up. Okay guys, thank you for joining us again.
Is this thing on?
Yeah. Boom, boom, boom. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching. Definitely leave whatever you guys think in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks so much, and we'll see you guys next time.
Cute ching on the inside.
Yep, and then that's when it'll be like... Burr, 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 burr.
I didn't know what you were doing at first.
I know, I just had to keep on going with that. I'm just like, she doesn't know.
I was willing to be patient.
I know, come on, I know, me too. I'm like, get there, Jess, get to the punchline. She's gonna understand in a sec. I'm like, 3, 2, I'm like, I can't 1. Speed up the song, Jess.
Yeah, and it wouldn't help.
I'm up there with my mixer, I'm like, you want me to speed it up? You think she's gonna get it there? You know?